Namaste mere pyare bachcho. I know, exams are just around the corner and the tension is real. But don't you worry, your guide is here. We are going to quickly revise a chapter that's literally all around us. From the cars on the road to the apps on our phones, it's all about work, life and India's industries. Let's make it super simple, super quick and get you ready to score full marks.
So, what's on the menu today? Here's our plan. First, we'll break down what this big term industrial society even means. Then we'll zoom into India's very special job scene. After that, we'll actually imagine what it's like to be a worker for a day. We'll also look at how workers stand up for their rights. And finally, the most important part, your final revision points for the exam. Ready? Jello, let's start.
First things first, what is an industrial society? It sounds heavy, doesn't it? But trust me, it's not. And to get it, we're going to forget the textbook for a minute and start with something we all know and love, Bollywood.
Just picture this. In a huge city like Mumbai, you could have a big movie star having fancy sushi in Juhu. At the same time, a factory worker is probably grabbing a quick vada pav in Gurgaon. Their lives feel completely different, right? Worlds apart. That's the division. But they might both be cheering for Virat Kohli in the same cricket match. That's the connection. And that, my friends, is the heart of an industrial society. It separates us, but it also brings us together in new ways. Okay, get your pens and highlighters ready because this is a key word. Alienation. You have to know this for your exam. Imagine working in a giant car factory. Your only job, all day, every day, is to fit one tiny screw onto a car door. You do it thousands of times, but you never actually see the beautiful finished car. You feel disconnected, like you're just a small part of a huge, faceless machine. That feeling, that disconnect, is what we call alienation.
And this wasn't just a random idea. This concept comes from a very famous thinker, Karl Marx. You absolutely have to remember his name. He said that this kind of repetitive, boring work makes people feel exhausted, and more importantly, they lose the joy and pride of creating something because they never see the final product.
And this picture here, well, it says it all, doesn't it? This worker is helping build this amazing, massive car. But all he ever sees is this one little screw. He can't feel proud of the car because he's so far removed from it. This image is the perfect way to remember what alienation feels like.
Okay, so we've got the big idea. Now let's bring it home to our India. Our job market is, well, it's very unique. And the biggest story here is the huge difference between what we call the organized and the unorganized sectors.
Now have a look at this chart. It tells such a cool story. See that bar for 1972-73? Back then, most Indians were self-employed, like farmers or your local kirana store owner. Now jump over to the 2018-19 bar. See how that has shrunk? And look what's grown. People with regular salaries and, even more, people who work for daily wages. It's a massive shift in how we work. But here comes the most important number of this chapter. The one statistic that you just have to remember. Are you ready? Over 90%. Yes! More than 9 out of every 10 workers in India are in the unorganized sector. Just let that sink in. It changes everything.
And this table right here makes the difference super clear. This is a potential 5-mark question, so pay close attention. The organized sector, think government jobs, big IT companies, they give you job security, pension, a fixed salary. This is the classic sarkari naukari dream everyone's parents talk about. But then you have the unorganized sector, where 90% of our people work. And here, there's no job security, no benefits, and often very low daily wages. It's a much tougher life.
Okay, quick break. Pop quiz time. This could easily pop up as a 1-mark question. What does the word disinvestment mean? Think for a second. Have you got it? And here's the answer. Disinvestment is simply when the government sells its share, its ownership, in a public sector company to a private company. A perfect example is when the government sold Air India to the Tata Group. The government basically reduced its ownership. Easy, right? Lock that definition in your brain.
All right, enough for the big series and definitions. Let's get real. What is a day in the life of an Indian worker actually like? We're going to go from the noisy factory floor to the quiet laptop screen to see what's really going on.
2. What do you think this number means? Any guesses? Well, this is the number of cars that come out of the Maruti audio factory's assembly line every single minute. 2 cars every 60 seconds. Can you even imagine that kind of speed?
But this amazing speed comes at a price.
a huge human price. To make this happen, the workers get only 45 minutes of break time in their entire workday. The pressure is so high, the work is so tiring, that many are completely worn out by the time they're 40.
And hey, if you think working in a cool, air-conditioned office is any easier, think again. In the IT world, people have started using a term called time slavery. We're talking 10 to 12-hour workdays, nonstop pressure to meet deadlines for clients who might be on the other side of the planet. It's a different kind of exhaustion, a mental one, but it's just as real.
And the struggle looks different for different people. On one side, you see the pure physical danger of working in a mine. On the other side, you have the quiet, hidden struggle of home-based work, like these women rolling biddies. It might seem safer, but they get paid per biddy they roll, earning very, very little for hours and hours of work. Different work, different risks, but the struggle is common.
So, what happens when the conditions are just too much to bear? Do people just accept it? No way. They fight back. And that brings us to our next section, how workers come together, form unions, and go on strike to demand what they deserve.
Now, this is a very important event from modern Indian history that you must know about. The Great Bombay Textile Strike of 1982. More than 2 lakh workers went on strike demanding better pay. They held on for almost 2 whole years. But tragically, the strike failed. About 1 lakh people lost their jobs, and the famous textile mills in Mumbai started shutting down one by one. And if you go to Mumbai today, you can see the result of that strike everywhere. The huge lands where those mills once stood, giving jobs to thousands, well, today they've been replaced by swanky shopping malls and tall luxury apartment buildings. It's a powerful reminder of how much the city has changed.
Okay, Bacho, we have covered so much ground. And now it's time for the grand finale. Let's quickly go over everything one last time. These are your most important points for the exam. Time to focus.
So, here's your cheat sheet. Number 1, alienation, that feeling of being disconnected from your work. Number 2, India's job scene is over 90% unorganized, which means very little job security. Number 3, the reality of work can be super high pressure like in a car factory, or it can be time slavery like in an IT company. 4, liberalization after the 90s meant more contract jobs, which are less secure. And finally, number 5, workers fight for their rights by forming unions and striking, like the historic Bombay textile strike. Got it? Perfect! And I want to leave you with one final question to think about. This is for your generation. With all this new technology like artificial intelligence and robots, how do you think the future of work is going to change in India? Something to think about, right? Okay, that's it for our quick revision. You've got this. All the very best for your exams. I know you will rock it.